Hello everyone. Today we will continue and finish. It's the last episode of the thriller The Heroes We Deserve. And now today we are going to talk about the strong onliners, because if you haven't seen yet the second episode, we are talking about talented FIDE masters. On Chess.com today we will be talking about talented grandmasters, but not top players. Top players seem to be less talented when it gets to online play. By the way, I would recommend you, if you want to hear some news, some facts, some statistics that you cannot hear anywhere else, because all other chess media is very positive and the sky is blue and the sun is shining every single day. So if you want to learn some real news, you can subscribe to my channel, Kramnik YouTube. You'll find it, and I'm going to continue to give you some data that you cannot find anywhere else. Let's start with onliners, very strong onliners. You see, this is the chess.com rating, very, very high, all of them, but they are not below 2700 level, those players. And those are last 3 years, the World Championship that they played, in the sense of cups accuracy of play. So what I did, I divided, here first number, like Lazovic 89.3, it's the average in the whole tournament, 21 games. Well, sometimes there are short draws, you already know. Hopefully you've seen some of my videos that I don't count short draws, like before move 20. This is a general average accuracy caps level, and I decided, since I want to make a certain comparison to Title Tuesdays, and Title Tuesdays usually 11 rounds. Well, sometimes players make short draw, and it's 10 rounds, so then it would be quite logical to compare. So I shared this 21 round tournament. Only in 2024 there was 13 rounds. Before 22-23 there was a different format, 21 games per tournament, and then I shared it like 11-10 games. So you see here, so it's like 2 tournaments in one. Altogether it makes it around 30 tournaments. Okay, let's count. 2 to 5, another 5, 10, 13, 16, 18, 20, 21, 23, 25, 26, 28, 29. 30, actually exactly 30 tournaments. I took the famous onliners, and also the player, just took a player who was actually the most successful probably among onliners in last events. So he didn't play in 2024, Injic. But he did very well. He was in top 20 both in 22 and 23. Actually, surprisingly, he has 29.15 only on chess.com, so by far the lowest rating among all those players, even though his FIDE rating is pretty high. It's second highest in this list, and his OTB performances also are actually better than most of these players. Maybe only Lazovic has similar, but for some reason he is not very high rated when it gets to online play. Probably it's about 3D 2D issue. What else? Here, and you can see that all in all, in 2024 I made it, since it was 13 round and sometimes some short draws, so I made it like 1 tournament. Therefore, and you see that the 90 level of 90 in all those 30 events was only achieved 3 times. and overall not a single time. And 90, 90.6, 91.8 was the best 11 rounds performance, but then it was done by Bluebaum, but then he completely collapsed in the second half, 85.7, so all in all the average was 88.9. So that is a very general picture. I mean, I just took those who played who played these World Championships. Yeah, there are some more, but those was like, yeah, the one which I mentioned in the second episode. And as you see, like Indic is the best performer. But yeah, he managed once 90.6. So you can get a very general picture. So what is the usual level of those players over the board when they play World Championships? 3+2, so they have 1 second on each move extra, but still very rarely they can manage to get to 90 level. Now let's move to the untalented top players and to see untalented online, and to see what are their performances. I made quite some work there, so I went through a lot of events. So and I was counting here. I mean, in some cases I was adding simply 91 plus, but most of the time it's 91.5 caps plus tournament. So average. So every Title Tuesday, I was just counting Title Tuesday. Every Title Tuesday where these players managed to get 91.5 or more average level of play. And so a lot of events. Magnus Carlsen I reasonably took as a benchmark, so to say, because it's hard to do better than him. And he is by far among these top players. Those are the top players. So among them, he's really by far having the best level of play in those events, as you can clearly see. Yeah, it was like latest events from most of the time 2024. Sometimes, some play rarely, some play more often. Magnus, I decided to take last 2 years, 23 and 24. So altogether it made 90 Title Tuesdays, plus minus 1 or 2, because sometimes I don't know how to count. If, let's say, he played 6 or 7 rounds and then stopped the tournament, you can count it as if it was played or not played. But all in all, yeah, it's around 90 Title Tuesday. Hikaru is playing a lot, so I just took last 50. It's more or less correspond to 1 year period, 50 events. Firouzja, Duda, Wesley So, Dubov, Caruana, so all the same boring guys who are performing by far the best in OTB Blitz events. Highest rated also, this is like top 9 by rating, at least from those who are playing in online as well. And I took Grishuk also. Why? Because established player. Also, he's a bit lower rated now, but there is no doubt he's one of the best also Blitz players in the world. And in general, I noticed that in OTB World Championship, he's very often having very high accuracy level, so 91, 90 plus all the time. A very strong player, so I thought maybe he can also manage to have very high performances. And so what we see, the picture is pretty clear. Yeah, there is a certain limit. There is only one event Duda played 94.7. This is insanely high level of accuracy. So it's already like event which I would pay attention. I mean, yeah, simply because nothing personal, but it's really insane level, at least for top players. For onliners, it's kind of normal, as you will see later. But in any case, we will come back to it later. In any case, let's see. Magnus Carlsen, the best out of 90, he couldn't manage more than 93.7 in one particular tournament accuracy. He did it twice. A lot of, 3 more 93 plus events, and a lot of 92 plus, 91 plus. So yeah, of course, very, very high level in general, but still, okay, there is a certain limit. I think also in the world, like 10 world championships he played, only once he managed above 94 level of play. I mean, it's just like almost impossible. Very, very difficult. It's extremely rare. Of course, I never managed, no TB, not online, to have even 93. I'm not sure I ever managed. I think my best was 92.3, 92.4. Could never manage more, but okay, maybe I'm not gifted. But anyways, very, very rarely people are managing 93 plus. So we can see 5 times Magnus. Never Nakamura actually doesn't have a very high caps because of his style. Same as Firouzja, for his level, very low accuracy. But this is also connected with the style. Anyways, even very solid players like Carlsen is in general solid, or Wesley So, also very solid player. He doesn't play very often, so less sample is smaller, 27 only title Tuesdays, but still 92.6 was the best he could manage out of 27 tournaments. And altogether, so 5 times Magnus, Hikaru never, Firouzja never managed, also 93. Once Duda, but extremely high, 94.7. Once Dubov, 93.7 like Magnus, also but only one time. And we can see Grishuk stably very high level of play, but 92.9 he never reached 93. And one time Jan Nepomniachtchi 93. MVL, by the way, won quite a number of events, but the best he could do is 92. Here, by the way, 7 means only 7 games he played in this tournament, so I decided to include it, but yeah, it's not like full tournament here. So even MVL, OTB World Champion, I think he won like 5 or 6 times, Title Tuesday, even playing not so many tournaments, but still 92 was the best he could manage, at least as far as I could see, yeah? Because I went through a lot of tournaments. So then altogether, how many games, how many tournaments, so how many attempts, statistically talking, are here? Well, around 500. So 500 events, yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, only 8 times top best players in the world managed to get 93 plus. Okay, so we have the picture. By the way, quite similar statistics is over the board when they play. Also 93, very rarely players are managing to achieve, or very few. Actually, in the whole history of World Championships, Blitz World Championship, managed to achieve this average. But now let's get to at least a few. I didn't check everyone yet. It's like massive work. It's not my work. Normally, in a normal world, it must be chess.com who is doing it, and well, maybe taking some measures, or at least informing us about it. Again, because when we are talking about cups, of course, when there are so many events, so many games, so 500 events, it means, well, more than 5,000 games. It's a huge number of games. So of course you can draw, well, seriously you can draw some conclusions out of such a big sample of games. So, well, we can clearly draw a conclusion that 93 is very difficult to manage, and 94 almost impossible. I mean, one time best players in the world manage out of 500 events. Well, it's extremely rare occasion, yeah, even for best players. But here now we get to, I just took for the best performers in the sense of the quality of play. And here we see, well, very different picture. So there are 4 players also from November 2023 I took. And altogether it makes it 4 players. How many attempts? So tournaments, more or less, I would say, yeah, 230, yes, I understand. 230 tournaments. So 2 times less attempts. and many more events 94 plus or 93 plus level of play. Of course, I understand, yeah, it depends a bit on a style, on your concept, but also among the top players, the people with different styles. Let's say Wesley So, Grishuk are very solid positional players, while let's say Firuja Nakamura playing more tactically and sharp. Magnus can do both. So different play, but still, whatever is your style, there is a certain limit of seemingly, yeah, of level of play you can manage to achieve in 3 minute games, 3 with increment. So, but here it seems like sky is a limit. So let's check Blue Baum. I took 100 tournaments because he plays a lot, and the best performance 94.9. I mean, this is just incredible. Even if positions are simple, but it's the more or less plus minus a little, the average level of the participants of the World Championship, last World Championship, was around 95. I mean, classical one, yeah. Match Ding Nepomniachtchi both performed 93, so it's way ahead, way better than the World Championship match classical chess. Just to explain you, I mean, that you have a very general understanding how crazily high is this level. 94.9 average out of 11 games. Even if, of course, some games are pretty simple. Again, even if it's simple, if they are long enough, and I can remind you that I'm not considering short draws. So if they're long enough, it's just very difficult only with 3 minutes always to play practically perfect moves. So 94.9 actually was achieved twice, 94.9, so almost 95. Then, we will come back to it later. Once it was 94.8 also by other player. But here you see, so out of 100 tournaments, for example, Blue Baum managed 94.9, 94.1, 93.5, 93.3, 93. So basically, it is very similar to Magnus' performance. I mean, when talking about the best performance, like, okay, when we are talking about simply very, very strong level of play, then Magnus is overtaken, definitely. But for some reason, playing like amazing chess, here he is not, and of course not even mentioning other top players. I mean, they are not able to compete with the onliners. So here 5 events, but the best one is 93.7, and here also 5 events 93 plus, but average is higher because 94.9, 94.1. So maybe Magnus is better than many onliners. Maybe, you have to, it's not so obvious, but at least when it gets to like best performances, that's very clear. He cannot manage what they can quite regularly do. So then we take Lazovic 94.2. Also, he once crossed 94, but only 2 times 93 plus. Well, only. Most of the players, they never ever reach 93. Paravian has 4 tournaments 94 plus and 193, so the same 5 as Magnus, but definitely much higher average rating. Andreikin, yeah, that's a bit another story because he is 27 plus player, but and he actually was performing pretty well in World Championships, Blitz World Championships. Still, of course, I mean, this is really high. 5 events 93 plus, 4 other events 92 plus, and another 4 above 91.5 out of 90. Well, it's very, very high level of play, especially since when you are checking his over-the-board performances, accuracy of play, it's high, but it's never reaching these heights. I don't think he ever reached 92. Even in all, and he played quite a number of events of World Championships. Anyway, here at least he's, from time to time he's showing very over the board, also very good level of play. That cannot be said. Lazovic, yes, he was once in top 10 in World Championship. Last time he was 25th or something, but still, yeah. I mean, again, what I want to say is that it's just a general picture. I mean, you can say, yeah, maybe this is possible, maybe it is achievable. You have to check the games, you have to check the player, how he plays over the board, maybe to give a certain test to him. Because still you see, yes, maybe only two events 93 plus, but how many? 6 92 plus events out of 50. Actually, yeah, he doesn't play all the time. 50 is not so many, and so many events of this level, well, I don't know. So altogether, anyways, here you can see how many 93 plus events. 5, here 2, so 7, another 5, 12, and another 5, 17. So 17 out of 230. And top players out of 500 roughly, they have 7, only 93 plus performances. Strange picture, yeah. I mean, okay, think whatever you want about it, but my message is that I was many times trying to contact Chess.com, and given this data, many other researches which I've done, and they're all showing the same very, very strange picture. Let's put it this way. And all what I was asking, please check it, and please inform us, report. I mean, okay, this is absolutely abnormal. It's very obvious to everyone. So at least if you believe everybody is clean, is playing fair, maybe, okay, it's, you have to go deeper. You cannot tell just based on this that one particular player is cheating 100%. No, but clearly the probability is, well, considerable that somebody is cheating. I mean, each particular player, but at least in average, it just looks like what is the chance that all these players, and we will come to some more today, that they can manage to show something, much, much higher performances in the level of play, something which is even more, let's say, stable parameter, and the parameter that doesn't depend, it's not depending on the mouse skills or whatever. Yeah, it is a quality of your moves. So when you are playing over the board, I mean, very clear, as you saw it in my first two parts of the saga, that the quality of moves of these players is much higher, much higher. Here, for some reason, when it gets to online, mouse 3D, 2D, 5D, but the quality of moves, for some reason, the picture changes completely. And we need to understand what are the reasons, because if the reasons are connected with some external help, I'm sorry, but we are playing for money. Everybody, it's money events, and quite considerable amount of money if you're talking about full year. I mean, if you want, you can check statistics. It's on internet how much money players earn on chess.com playing rapid events, blitz, title Tuesday, etc. It is significant amount, very significant amounts. And chess.com, I mean, what we want to ask you, and I want to ask you, and I would say even demand, yeah, because you promise that you make money events. It's serious competitive chess. I mean, many players are making living out of it. Professional players, well, not me, but many others. And well, sorry, but you have to provide fair play. I mean, we have to be reassured that there is no fraud happening, because if somebody is constantly using computer assistant, which is definitely forbidden, strictly forbidden, well, it is a fraud. It's actually a criminal case. It's not just some kind of morally wrong. No, it is criminal, actually. And so chess.com doesn't promise that they can catch every cheater, understandable, but it promises that they will do their best to assure that the play is fair. And okay, then sorry, you cannot leave it like this. That's my message. And okay, so that is not the only statistics done. Now let's get, well, I just prepared just in case the tournaments, so best tournaments by level of play of the onliners. Well, you see here 94.9, and okay, you can say, yeah, probably they were playing against weak players. Average level of the opposition 90.8, very high, extremely high, 90.8. So they were not playing against weak players who were blundering pieces here and there. No, I mean, check. Okay, so in this you see this is means draw. Red means very rare losses in this tournament, and blue means victories. 99.160 moves, 99.1 level victory against what level? 95.6. Not so bad. And here, yeah, here the game 75.9, not too high level, but 88.9, 89.7, 85.6, okay, normal. You see, the players, opponents are playing very well. Even too well, I would say, for the average level. Here, the average level, because with 94.9, Blue Baum, for instance, the best scorer, he managed only 8 out of 11. Only 8 out of 11, because the opponents were probably also, I mean, there were a lot of talented FIDE masters playing against them. So you see 97.3, 97.8, 95.5. You cannot beat it, yeah, even with such a level of play. You cannot even get into the top 5. Then the second one is Paravian, 94.9 as well. Yeah, Paravian is playing a lot of like force theoretical lines, true, but even though 94.9 is crazy performance, it's extremely high. Even when you play simple kind of logical chess, I mean, it's, well, after all, he won 5 games. We see with the level 85.8, 95.8, 95.1, 93, 93. I mean, yeah. And draws all like 96, 99, 98. Okay, this one is short, at least 22 games. This you might not count, might count. But in any case, extremely high performance. Then Jeffrey Song, yeah, Jeffrey Song, he made actually third best, 94.8, but here only 3 draws, so he won 4 draws, yeah. So he won 7 games, average 28.50, pretty high. I mean, he played very strong opponents actually. 28.50, I mean, obviously Chess.com rating. Still, it is for Title Tuesday, pretty high average rating, and you see some victories, even though not too long games, but still 98.5, 96.3, yeah, 95.2, 95.9, 45 moves. Again, can happen, yeah, it's like every single game you can play 96, 98, even you win games, yes, but like in one tournament to play perfect chess, almost, you see the worst game played is 89.4, almost 90 is the worst one from 11 games. I don't know, numbers are showing, and the level of opposition again is pretty high, 89.3, and so on and so on. So some more, you can stop the video at some point and check it. Yeah, do the performance. Okay, at least he's a very, very top player. Still, it has to be checked. Frankly, I mean, it has to be checked because, I mean, it's extremely high, 94.7, and he actually won 8 games out of 11. Like 91, 98, 95, 94, 92, 96, 94, 94. Well, okay, let's check. But then twice more Paravian, and again next, again the same names. Lazavik now 94.2, very modest performance for onliners, and then again Paravian, and twice Blue Baum again. Okay, this is number 10. 10 best is 93.5. And okay, especially there are some games like just you see 97.8, beating somebody who played 92 level, 43 moves, so not a short game to manage. Then 93.2, winning against 92 level, which is very high, 92, extremely high level, 90 moves, winning a game. Okay, yeah, 97 here against 88.5, average like 2700 player level. Well, a bit too many of such performances, and just simply my message is that we have to get an answer from chess.com. How is it possible? Because it doesn't seem to be very likely all this to happen. Yeah, that out of 10 best, 9 best performances, 94 plus, there is only one top 10 player once managed, and other 8 performances, the players are strong but not barely top 100. I'm not sure if anyone is even in top 100 out of those players. Maybe, I don't know, but especially you see Lazovic had 29-27 average, so he played very strong opponents here. So okay, that's what I wanted to show, that I'm puzzled and I would demand an answer. Factual answer, not like, okay, everything is fine and so on. No, I think many other players already do not trust words. Please show us the data, explain us that everything is fine, or other ways. If not, chess.com must admit that they have no control, that people might be cheating there, and they have zero responsibility on this. Okay, then admit it, please admit it. Or if you pretend to have great anti-cheating system and so on, then you have to deliver something, because maybe there was a time when people or players who are playing for money, it's making living out of it. Yeah, they would trust in it, but somehow there are too many facts, performances, researches which shows that, many strange things are happening, and chess.com has to answer. That is very obvious to me. And again, don't pretend private site, not private. No, it's money events. It is, if something is wrong, it is a criminal case. Again, criminal. It's a fraud. So yeah, there is, there is no way to tell, oh, it's not your business. It's my business, and it's everyone's business who is taking part of it and potentially getting robbed, potentially. So okay. Then next, let's see. Well, maybe these players are always performing great. I just took the last World Championship now, which just ended a month ago, these are the performances, the winning games. I just took because draws. Okay, there can be 98, 99, even very rarely cups draw. It happens because, both players playing safe, some opening line, and then just random, simple moves, they change everything, make a draw. Even though it's not so easy to make 98 cups draw, but that is, okay, you can explain. But once you win a game, like here, you win games with some 98 precision, 99.8. Well, here there are only 18 moves, so this is possible. But if you are talking about, reasonably long game, more or less, like, okay, let's take here, 97.8, 43 moves. 97.8 is very, very high. So let's see, it's very difficult, because if the position would be so simple that you can manage 97.8, most probably you are not going to win this game, simply. You just will not win because the position is totally drawish. But if you manage to win, it means there was something in the position most of the time that you won it. If position was not that simple, to play in Blitz 97.8, it's extremely rare. So let's see how often do they win games. We are talking about winning games. In the last event, these are all the games they won. By the way, not that many, 5. They actually won, each of them won 5 games out of 13. Much less often they win than in Title Tuesday. But anyways, you see that only 2 games were 95 plus level, which they won, and 0 games 97 plus. So, and by the way, when people think that in the World Championship, okay, the level of opposition is much higher, actually not so much, because you see average rating of those players. Okay, only Jeffrey Chong, he had 2550, pretty high, but otherwise 2495, around 2500. Paravian even had 2459. It's very comparable to Title Tuesday, because Because in Title Tuesday, also if you play well, quite often you meet Nakamura, Firuza, Carlsen, so your average rating is pretty high. FIDE average rating and Chess.com as well. And here is the average level of the victories. In average, well, you see very, very far from 94, 93, even 93, even 92, quite far. 91.3 is the best average, but Lazovic 89, even below 90, and we are talking only about winning games. So, and here is a I compared, okay, those players, let's say, were performing over the board, 20 victories, so twice 95 plus cups, and not a single time 97 plus. That shows that it's actually quite difficult to perform 97 in Blitz game and to win a game. And in those tournaments, all what I mentioned, the same players, they won 49 games in those best events by quality of play, and 95 plus 19 games out of 49, and 8 games 97 plus out of 49. Okay, so which means I would say logically, you would then expect that they should have much more over the board or much less online, because the gap is absolutely huge. How come online? Of course I understand those are the best events, but check all of them, all of their tournaments, all of the onliners. Very rarely they win games 95 plus, very rarely, and practically almost never 97 plus. Here it's like constant almost. I mean, at least in best events. So okay, all this looks a bit strange, and now I decided, okay, let's see. So what let's see how they play onliners. I took onliners because there is category, I would say, established top Blitz players. As you already understand, there is a category, let's say, onliners, and there are a few players who are in between, somebody like Andreikin or Bortnik. I didn't know where, in what category to put them, because actually there are 27 plus players over the board and showed very decent plays. They play not so often, but they play, but at the same time they're performing even better online. So I decided to leave aside those 2-3 players and to check. I decided to check and to make a competition, to make a match. I called it the Battle of the Century. This is teams, 2 teams like in football. One team clock pushers, so OTB players, and another mouse clickers. This is onliners. Yes, Hikaru Nakamura is the main arbiter, because I was thinking, well, it would be unfair to put him in any of the team, because, on the VAR there is Danny Range, of course. Who else? And because we just cannot get Hikaru in, because I check how does he play online against both of these teams. And he's just crushing both of those teams. So 21 victory, 8 losses, 15 draws against the clock pushers. So 27-76, by the way, average FIDE rating of this team. I will name the players. So goalkeeper is Grishuk, and then the defense Aranyan, Firuza, Duda, Wesley So, and then middle field and attack Dubov, Caruana, MVL, and Jan Nepomniachtchi. This is the team. 9 players, at least for the moment, and there are. I took 10 best onliners by rating, by performances first of all, who win quite often win prizes in online events. 2596, considerably lower FIDE OTB rating, so 180 points lower. Jospem, Martinez, Lazovic, Bluebaum, Tuan Minh, wonderful time as we know him, Paravian, Hakobian, Andrew Hong, Jeffrey Xiong, Pranav, and Naroditsky. Those are highest rated, and at the same time players who actually getting pretty often in the prizes, but not really. They were not showing much, or in case, let's say, Naroditsky, he almost never didn't play. over the board, but they were not showing like too much in over the board events. Okay, Lazavik showed good performances, still nothing extraordinary, but his rating is not very high. It's, I think, below 2600. So, and I decided to see how did they play, clashing each other in Title Tuesdays since 2024. So all the games like with each other since 2024. But first, yeah, Hikaru is an arbiter, definitely, because if you put him in any of the team, so 64.8% against clock pushers, but even better against mouse clickers, 66.3%. So just crushing them both, laughing out loudly, and we cannot definitely make anything regarding online chess.com play without him getting involved, so let him be an arbiter of the match. And before that, okay, what are your bets? Which team is stronger? Difficult question. Yeah, I don't know. Hard to say, but I decided, since I was not very clear to me whom would I bet on in this match. And there were altogether almost 150 games which they played with each other. I decided to check how did the mouse clickers team play against 2700 FIDE rating plus opponents in all world championships. I mean, those particular players over the board Blitz World Championships. And altogether, this is the statistics. They played in World Championship against 27 plus players. So excluding Carlsen and Nakamura, because they're on the special, they're much stronger seemingly. And and definitely it's just 27 plus, and those are top 8 out of top 10. I mean, in 8 out of 9 are top 10 players. Grishuk is also very, 2700. So I decided to replace Nakamura Carlsen by Grishuk Aranyan. Okay, not a bad replacement. I mean, established, very, very strong players, classical, but also blitz. So the performance of mouse clickers is pretty disappointing, actually. 13 wins, 43 losses, 24 draws. 31%, actually even worse than playing Hikaru. So it seems like the chances are not very high for them to compete with these players finally. But when you start to check what happened since 2024, this is a derby, the match of the century, the derby, clock pushers, mouse clickers. Okay, it's you can check later more carefully this page, you make a screenshot and look at it. So let's see. You see here 10 players of the online team, offline team here, and let's see the performances. So here are results. It corresponds to the number. So you can clearly see who played how. And Grishuk in a big minus, out of 14 games, -4 against onliners. Aranyan, Wesley, so they didn't play much. They're not playing that often. For understandable reasons, Title Tuesdays. They used to play a lot, but at some point, for some reason, now they're playing very rarely. Maybe, we can only guess what are the reasons. And they have more or less equal performance. Firouzja, if you thought he's one of the best players in the world in Blitz, he's number 2 now after Carlsen. Over the board rated, but no, not at all. -4 in many games against these brilliant onliners. He's in minus. Duda is in plus, only one who is in considerable plus against these players. And then, yes, Dubov is suffering -4. So 5 lost, one victory. So plus is victory, as you understand, minus is loss, equal means draw. So he's won 1 game out of 10, lost 5 for draws, and Caruana, MVL, and Nepomniachtchi are more or less in 50%. Quite many games, so pretty equal, and very strange. So as you see here, against 2700 plus players, same team, when they play over the board, they get too nervous, or I don't know what happens, but minus 30. So 13 wins, 43 losses, 24 draws, and here the plus 5 with the same, actually even stronger opposition, plus 5. 50 wins for the clock pushers, 55 wins for mouse clickers, and 41 draw. Altogether, all the games they played, in since 2024 in Title Tuesdays. But okay, this, if it's a really good thriller, it has to end unexpectedly, and there is a Batman usually, or some kind of other hero who comes and saves the situation. And I decided, okay, they're too weak, these guys, so they have to get certain help. And now the hero comes, Magnus Carlsen. Well, the substitute, he comes to the field, and finally he manages, actually not so easy for him, but he manages to change the outcome, and we have a happy end. Finally, OTB players, clock pushers, managed to get a very tough victory. 78 wins altogether, 74 losses, 50 draws, with the help of Magnus Carlsen, who is crushing some players. I mean, who has a very good score, especially I think with with Jeffrey Song, plus 5, even though he is actually not with everyone is going so smoothly. For instance, he has 0 out of 4 games in 2024 in Title Tuesday against Andrew Hong. Well, that's understandable, yeah. Andrew Hong is very, we all know how strong is he when playing online. So he has 4-0 score against Carlsen, but with others Magnus manages to compensate. Not easy for him. For example, number 10 with Naroditsky, pretty equal fight, and in general Naroditsky made plus 6 against these players online. Actually, the best performance here is a performance. Blue Baum collapsed, minus 10 against top players, but if not him, then they would just totally crash the clock pushers. But because of him, only 5-point difference. But in general, Naroditsky plus 6, Jeff Rickson plus 5, Wonderful Time plus 5 against these players in 2024. But Magnus comes and saves the day, and finally it's pretty equal as well. As you can see, 10-10, 10 best world players over the board and 10 best onliners. Finally, when it gets to over the board play, of course the difference is considerable, but online it seems that their talents are matched, and finally by the level of play they actually play better. Yeah, I mean, their best performances are much higher than those OTB players and clock pushers, but performance-wise, finally we can conclude that it's more or less equal. Those teams are more or less equal. Very interesting conclusions. A little bit, I would say, surprising, yeah, when you see the statistics. But well, all in all what I want to say now already seriously, that this all looks weird. This looks strange. We are playing for money, considerable money, and chess.com promises players that they do everything in their power to secure fair play. If there is no fair play, again, I will repeat it one by one, it's a fraud, it's a criminal case, yeah. And if chess.com doesn't want to respond to this, doesn't pretend that everything is okay, and well, they are not, as so far I published a lot of researches, they are not responding most of the time. I mean, almost all the time when they responded, it simply has no mathematical sense of what they are saying. Okay, then my conclusion is maybe it's okay for them, it's not okay for me, for honest players who want to play fair, that the tournaments, especially with money involved, are played fair. I mean, we must be reassured. I demand, and I believe all honest players would agree with me that we demand explanation, factual explanation. I mean, I believe that performances of many of those onliners whom I was talking about today, I don't say they have to be banned or anything, but they must be checked. Okay, I remember about a year ago, Chess.com promised they would start sending proctors to players, blah blah. Nothing is done. Nothing is done. They continue to earn a lot of money. They continue to show incredible performances, and Chess.com continues to pretend or just to keep silent most of the time, or to pretend that everything is fine and there is very little cheating and it's all under control with a fantastic anti-cheating system. So if it continues like this, well, I see no other way. I telling it very openly and very straight that unfortunately it's not what I want, not what I enjoy, but unfortunately there is no other way than to take a legal path and to start some legal cases. In this case that I am seriously considering, if all this will be unanswered again, well, there is nothing else to add here. Please subscribe to my channel and give your opinions, factual opinions, I mean based, argumented opinions on all what you've seen today and in the previous part of this Heroes We Deserve. And let's hope we will get some explanations, because in my opinion we seem to have too many heroes that we deserve when it gets to online play. Thank you.